Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. I am the non-linear recovery life of Jessica. I'm Jessica and I'm glad you're here. So, I've been debating about what my next video should be on, and with having such a limited amount of time with my kids in the classroom, I don't have a lot of stories or fun little anecdotes that happen because of the fact that we are flying so fast through our curriculum, because basically I'm having to teach 4 days of content in 2 days. And I'm having to do that twice a week. And that is really draining on me. Another reason why I've been a little bit silent on my YouTube channel is because I am tired. And by the time I leave school, get home, work out, try to eat, spend some time with Mark and kind of catch up on both of our days, it's basically 8:30 and I've got to shower and get ready for bed. And I always try to have a little bit of time at the end of the day for both of us. He can play games and I can read, and it helps us kind of de-stress and relax for bed. So I've been quiet on about all of my social media, honestly, because of the fact that I am exhausted. And I think it's important for us all to remember that teachers are tired anyway at the beginning of the year, but this is a whole new level of tired that I never imagined I would be. So the topic, I guess, of this video is about expectations I'm putting on these kids. I'm in a couple of teacher groups on Facebook, and they're good. I'm not saying they're not good, but there's definitely some negativity floating around in some of them. And I think just in general, there's negativity floating around in our world. And I think we all tend to get caught up in it at times. And it happens. It's, everybody's at fault in that. I know that I tend to get sometimes stuck in my negative mindset, and my depression is a cause of that. But I think we all kind of get caught up in it, and then it's like we're stuck in it. And before we know it, we're the ones adding to the negativity, and we're being negative ourselves. So the groups are good, but the groups are also kind of a problem. I tend to sometimes ignore some of the notifications, or sometimes I'll even turn notifications off so I don't really have to read it or get notified of it on Facebook, just so that I can kind of protect my own mindset. So a couple of the teacher groups that I've got in have talked about how, the gap is significant. And what I mean by that is, with these kids having been out as long as it was, the gap is significant in their academic ability. Basically meaning that they are lower than, they typically would be at this time of year. And to me, that's a challenge, but at the same time, I see it as such a positive atmosphere because it leaves so much room for these kids to grow. When you start at the bottom, there's nowhere to go but up. And I feel like, to me, it makes me feel good because I know that I'm going to be needed. I'm going to need to help this kid soar and to excel. And I think that's, some people get caught up in the, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? And it's more of just, we have to meet them where they are. So if they're low, we have to meet them at that low level. If they're high, we have to meet them at that higher level and challenge them. But I think that we need to watch out for the negativity. And one of the groups I was in brought up the topic of 9/11 last week. And I have always been a teacher who presents it to my kids in a, sensitive way. I discuss where I was on when it happened in 2001. I discuss how it affected the country and how it is a very hard day for some people. And I show a very good brain pop that kind of covers the topic in a tasteful way. it talks about Islam, and it talks about Al-Qaeda, and I'm blanking now, but it goes into more depth than I think some people would. And my kids are in 2nd grade. And I feel like, you know, I'm not going to show clips of people jumping out of the building. I'm not going to show the airplane crashing into the building. You know, that comes from, if the parents want to talk about that, then that's on them. But I do definitely feel like it's something that needs to be addressed, because I think that, I think we all kind of tend to glance over it, because there were a couple of teachers in one of the teacher groups I'm in that were saying how, you know, with as much mental strain as this year's already taking on the kids, they didn't want to add that to it. And I understand that. But at the same time, I feel like that's almost an excuse. The reason these kids have such a mental strain is we're not talking about the problem. We're not being honest with these kids and saying, this is hard on me, this is hard on you. You know, and I think that's where, you know, there's a fault in mental health awareness in kids and adults and everybody. We don't talk about it. There's too much of a stigma, so we just want to keep burying it under the rug and letting it go, and you can't do that. So I talked about it, and I was very short with it. Like I said, I explained, I watched Brain Pop, and we moved on. And one of my kids came up to me later in the day, and he said, Miss Paget, what happened to all the people in the buildings? And I said, well, some of them died. I said, some of them got really bad injured. And he was like, oh, he said, did any of them get out? And I said, there were some that got out. I said, some police and firemen and other people helped them out and everything. And he said, well, can I draw a picture? And I said, well, sure. I said, yeah, you can draw a picture. He's like, I want to draw a picture of the Twin Towers. And I said, okay. And he drew this absolutely gorgeous picture on his whiteboard of the Twin Towers. And he didn't draw anything graphic. He didn't draw the planes. He just drew a beautiful picture. And he said, he come and showed me, he's like, I drew the picture of the Twin Towers. And I said, or the World Trade Center. And I said, that's awesome. I said, wow, that's really good. And he said, yeah, he's like, I just wanted it to look pretty instead of what it looked like. And that just hit me like a brick wall, because I think we've all lost sight of what's important in the world and in our school. And this is talking more to teachers, but I feel like this can apply to anywhere. These babies might have missed a lot of time in school, and these babies might struggle, but my God, we have got to set that bar high, because I promise you, they are going to see that bar and they are going to jump that bar. And I think that's why I am so adamant about setting my goals so high. You know, and I don't set them to the point where the kids feel like they're failing every day. I set them reachable, but I set them that they can excel them as well. For example, that same day, when I realized that, and it hit me like a brick wall, I started reading The Legend of Sleepy Hollow with my kids. And I've done that for the past year. I did it last year, and I loved it. I thought it went well, and the kids love that we'll, like, get in the floor and read with flashlights. And we'll turn all the lights off, and it'll be kind of spooky, and I'll read it to them. And, you know, the novel itself that we read out of is written on a higher grade level. It's probably written on maybe 4th, 5th grade level. Maybe 3rd, but definitely 4th or 5th. And, you know, there's some words in there that these kids have never seen before. So the majority of the time I'll read the story for them, because it is much harder. But I do have some kids who want to try to read it, and I let them do it. And no matter how long it takes, we're going to let them do it. But I talk to these babies about Gothic fiction. I talk to these babies about what Gothic means. We talked about how the Headless Horseman could be described as Gothic because he is dark, he's mysterious, he's spooky. We talked about different adjectives that would describe him, and they're throwing, like, I mean, amazing adjectives out that I never would have expected from, this age group, let alone a normal year of this age group. But these kids are starved for structure. They're starved for knowledge because they went so long and didn't have the ability to be in a classroom. They didn't have the opportunity for a teacher to stand in front of them and teach. And I think it's just so important that we not only meet them where they are, but we will let them soar. We've got to raise our expectations. And this year's hard. I'm not saying it's not. It's 15 to 5 and I'm still sitting here at school. And I'm recording this video, but, I was recording videos up to the point of, for them, up to the point of recording a video for y'all. And tomorrow, thank God, it's a remote day that I can actually come in and breathe for a little bit. But I think it's just so important for us to all to remember that these kids are wanting to be challenged. They're wanting to soar. They're wanting to show that they are smart, that they can talk about stuff like this. My friend James teaches Gothic literature in 8th grade, 9th grade. So that's a high level skill. My kids are discussing it like it's no big deal. I started doing a word of the day, and I got this book from Scholastic. I think it's Scholastic. It's a word of the day, and they tells a word story. It talks about the definition. It talks about different questions you can ask with it. You would be amazed what these kids can come up with. Today's word, one word was flabbergasted. They were using that word like they had heard it all their life. I just think it's important that we challenge them. I just think it's important that we have high expectations because otherwise we're failing them. And that's my 2 cents. So other than that, I hope you guys are all well. I'm going to get out of here. It's almost 5 o'clock and this is the latest I have ever stayed this is my 3rd year, my 30 years of teaching. I've never stayed past 4:15, 4:30, and it's becoming a habit. So I'm going home, I'm going to work out, and I'm going to probably be lazy for the rest of the day and do nothing. Other than that, I hope you guys are well. Challenge those expectations. Challenge your kids, because I bet you'll be surprised. Other than that, and watch the negativity, for God's sake. Watch the negativity and control the controllable, okay? Control the controllable and don't worry about anything else. All right. I'll see you guys later. Bye. Oh, don't forget to subscribe. Bye.